Between your eyes,
Got him right through the tent. Bourbon box. Go in by these guys.
I think there's more than enough room for two of us out here.
best keep walking while you still can.
Sorry
What
about
the
that.
hell's your problem?
Sorry.
Go find a softer target.
Alright, so we got a bourbon box over there. And let's go back to the directory. We open up our log again. And now we have a whole mess of coordinates. Bandit Hideouts. Today we're going to build a new hideout. To begin with, let's start up Microsoft Visual Studio. And we're going to choose Bandit Hideouts. This will take a couple seconds to load. So this is Microsoft Visual Studio, and let me just give you a quick tour of what we're looking at. So at the top you have your menu for Microsoft Visual Studio. Here you have scripts. So this script currently is open. The one in yellow is this script here. If I click on this one, it opens up this script. If I click on this one, it opens up this script. So all of these are scripts that are pinned, and these are the scripts that I use to work on the Bandit Hideouts mod. Now to the right here is an index of all the scripts that are in the mod. There's 132 scripts. So for this new hideout that we're going to do, we are going to be working out of the gang hideouts.h script. Now we have to start with the script itself. So we're going to scroll down, and this is a list of all the hideouts and ambush points that are in the mod. So we have to scroll down and go to the last hideout that I built, which is this hideout here. So this hideout right here, Manzanita Camp. I need to copy this, and I use existing hideouts as templates for new hideouts. Otherwise I have to retype all the code and stuff. It takes a lot of time to do that. And then I go 2 lines down, and then I just paste it, and then this yellow line at the left that you see means that what I pasted wasn't saved yet. And right now I'm just going to save it for the moment, and we're going to go in game, and I'm going to show you where this new hideout is going to be at. Alright, as you can see, I picked a location. Maybe you can determine where we're at. Let's go to the map, and here we are on the edge of New Austin. And we're at Mcfarlane Ranch, and here we are by the side of the road, and the new hideout's going to be right here. Now the recent hideout I just showed you is actually right here. This is one I built for 139, so it's pretty close. So what we're going to do here is we're going to ride down, and I'm going to tie Mr. Horse up over here.
Easy.
Catch your breath, boy.
Alright, so this is going to be the location of the new hideout. So let's go back to the script and let's set up the hideout. Alright, so here we have our hideout, and we're going to start with the name here. So this is going to be number 34. That's just the listing number of how many hideouts there are in New Austin. We're going to change the name to Mcfarlane Camp. So that's going to be the new hideout's name. We're going to copy this name, and we have to update this right here to the new name. Then we're going to update this, and the gang that's going to spawn there is going to be Lobo, Del Lobo. What this little red squiggly line means is error. You could see at the bottom here you have 2 errors, so that just means that the same name has to be defined elsewhere in this script and other scripts. So we're just going to copy this, and we have to scroll down and change some other names. This one is to enable disabled hideout, so we have to update that. And this setting here is to set the spawn amount. So right now we have 4 errors. That means that these names haven't been defined yet elsewhere. So what we do next is we copy this and we go to the very top to that list, and we go right about here, hit enter and press Control V, and then we just remove that, and now you can see the error, one error goes down from 4. That's because it was defined here. So we'll just save that for now, and then we have to go to another script and we have to define the script in the groups. So here we put it in the all list, and then we have to go down in the list. Normally I wouldn't put a hideout in this list if it wasn't in New Austin, but our hideout today is in New Austin, so we can leave it alone. And we got to scroll down to where we see the region that this hideout is in, which is towards the bottom. And this hideout is near Armadillo, and it's also near Blackwater. Just save that there, and then we go to persistent hideouts, and for this one we have to specifically determine what region they're in. So we have to go down to where this is at, and this is in Hennigan's Stead. So go like that, add it to the top of the list, and this hideout is all set. That's all I have to do here. Alright, and we just hit save, and then we go to settings. The settings here that we have to do is one for disable individual hideouts and one for spawn amount. For the disable individual hideouts, I have to go alphabetical order on this. So this hideout is Mcfarlane Ranch, so we'll go right about here, and we'll just do that. I'll just paste the name. And what I like to do here is copy an existing line and paste it and use it. And we'll just take the name and we put that right here. Put that right here. And then we have to adjust the name here. So we have to make sure this is correct. McFarlane, and then underscore camp. Mcfarlane Camp. Alright, so we'll just copy this, and then we'll just do that. We'll save that part, and then now we go to spawn amount, which is the next line down. Now for this one, I paste the name so I can reuse it, and this one is not alphabetical order, it's just based on the last hideout I did. So I copy that line, paste it, and copy the name, and then we go right here and press Control V, and then we go like that. Mcfarlane. Alright, so we save that, those two are done, and now what we do is we go into the Bandit Hideouts INI and we update the INI with the new settings. So we go down to the spawn amount. So this is New Austin spawn amount, and what we do here is we copy this, press Control C, and then what I do is I just paste the new thing, add the 0, and then we put 2 forward slashes and a 34. So now you can see this is the 34th hideout in New Austin. Now we go to disable individual hideouts, and we scroll down to the bottom to New Austin region, and we go right here and go back to the script, and we go to this line here and copy this, and then back to the INI, press Ctrl V and just go equals 1, and then we go 2 forward lines and then 34. The 1 equals here, it means that this hideout is enabled. If you were to disable it, you just do that, but that's what that means. Alright, so that's the INI. The INI is set, and we'll just save the INI, close it. Next we go back to gang hideouts, and I just hit the save all line, which checks to make sure everything's saved. Then we go back to our hideout, and even though it's still showing 3 errors, I have to do a scan of the entire solution, which is basically all the scripts, and that will update the status of the errors and stuff. So what I do is I right click and then I go to rescan solution, and then in a few seconds you'll get a green check mark here and it says no issues found, because what it's doing is it's kind of confirming and aligning all the scripts up together that I changed for the hideout itself. So currently we don't have any bandits, and we can remove this, save that, and we're going to go back into the game and we're going to start acquiring coordinates, which we need to add to the hideout itself. When I press page up, I have a menu that I use to acquire coordinates and spawn props and all kinds of stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this on log PL card, which acquires a coordinate, and we're just going to close the menu for now. And the center of this hideout is going to be right about here. So you can see the map, so the center will be right about there. So I open the menu, I put it on log PL card, and then I hit enter. And then you can see the number at the very bottom above where it says spawned hideouts just turned to 0. That means I logged it. Alright, what I need to do now is log reinforcement spawn points. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to put some spawn points down this way. I'm going to put the spawn points right about here. So I open the menu again. I use log PL card. You can see the vdist2 from logged card is a bigger number. So what I do here is I just hit enter. That logs another coordinate. And then we're going to go to another spot. To log coordinates. Let's see, maybe I'll do it over here. I'll go over here. Alright, open the menu again. Hit log PL card, that sets that. What I need to do now is get the log patrol position. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to have a patrol, one that will start here, and I just open the menu. Currently it's on H1. I hit enter, and then I basically have to walk the path I want this patrol to be. He'll just go right about here. And then once I put it on H2, hit that again, and we'll go to the other side. I only put 2 patrol points because that's what the code requires. If I don't put them, then the hideout and the game could actually crash. So we're going to put a patrol point up here. And we're going to start them right by here. Alright, so we'll log that. And now we got to run the length of the thing. We'll stop them right about here. Now we hit enter, and that logs 2 patrols. What we're going to do now is go back to the script and add those coordinates. Alright, back in the script, what we do now is we go to the RDR2 directory. Anytime I log coordinates, I get a log file called Bandit Hideouts log, and what I do is I open that up, and all the coordinates that I logged are pasted into this log file. And so what I do here is I just remove some of these so I could read what I'm doing. So what we have here is we have the center of the hideout, we have the 2 reinforcement spawn points, and we have the 2 patrol points. So we're going to start with the center of the hideout. Press Control C and we'll scroll down to the bottom. So here is the area, center, and radius of the hideout, and all we're doing is paste in the code for the center. So that updates that, and this is the radius. Radius is 500 meters. That's a good number for that sized hideout. Sometimes they might be bigger, or sometimes they might be smaller. It depends on the area of the hideout. Now let's grab these 2, which are the patrol points, and I paste those right here. And then we just adjust this. A comma there, and then we scroll to the top, and now we need the reinforcement spawn points. Now the order don't matter, I'm just doing it because that's where I'm at in the script. And what I do here is just copy these 2, realign that, move that, and there are the reinforcement spawn points. Alright, so we have the name of the hideout, the gang that will spawn at the hideout, which is the Lobo. This is for the in-game menu that we were just using. You'll see this at the bottom of the map when the hideout spawns in. This is for the spawn distance. When you trigger the spawn distance, this is what decides when the hideout spawns in. Alright, so those are the basics. What we need to do now is start getting props set up for the hideout. So we're going to close this, and we're going to go back in game and start acquiring props. And I'm going to save this, of course. So now we're going to start working on the props, and we're going to go over here, and we're going to put down a campfire, and we'll open up the menu. And for campfires itself, we're going to use log PL card. The log PL card H is if you have something that has a heading or a direction that it faces, and we're not doing that for campfires. So for a campfire, we just hit log, and then we spawn the prop, and if I keep going like that, the props will change. So 0 is a campfire, and I'm just going to close the menu for a sec and open up the menu, spawn the prop. Now I spawn the props right away because it tells me where they're going to be at, otherwise I won't know where they're at exactly unless I can remember their exact location. So now that we have a campfire, next what we're going to do is we're going to put some bandits around the campfire. I'm going to start with a guy with a guitar. So for that we get in a position. I'm going to have him, let's see, I have him right here. We'll have some music to listen to, so just open up the menu. I set it to log our position state guitar, hit enter, and I close the menu, and then I open the menu again, and that will spawn the bandit. Now open the menu again, and we'll set a guy up for the campfire. Alright, so that starts the campfire. We're gonna start logging some guard positions. I'm gonna put a guy right here. And this guy's gonna stand wall. Hey, buddy. Put him right about here.
Fine morning, partner.
Hey, mister.
Open up the menu. Alright, so we're gonna go to another spot up here. Put a guy right here. This is gonna be stand. That's him. And we're gonna go over here. We're gonna put a guy in front of this tree. Maybe. Doesn't fall under the tree. And this will be stand wall. Yeah, that's not looking good. That tree's messed up, but I'm gonna go up here. Put a guy up top here. We'll put him on top of the hill. Yeah, let's go up here. There. Of a guy up here. That's him. And then we will go down here. But be careful. Yeah, put a guy over here. Now these are spawn positions, and depending on what you set in the INI for how many bandits you have set to spawn, each one of these positions could have a bandit or not. It really depends. But these are positions that you will see bandits at if you spawn the full amount of them. Alright, so let's go down here. Let's go right here. And put a stand wall. There we go. And let's go over here and put another campfire. Let's put it about right here. Alright, so we go to log peel card, and then we go to spawn prop. Alright, and then we go to campfire, and put some bandits around it. Let's see this guy up right here. Put one right here. Alright. Let's put a guy right here. He's gonna sit. Alright. Let's go over here now. And I'm gonna put a guy on this tree. He's gonna stand right by here. Alright, that takes care of those. Let's put a guy up here. Got bandits everywhere. Put a guy right here. Now just remember, these are spawn points for bandits. That doesn't mean when you come to a hideout there's going to be bandits everywhere. It really depends how many bandits that you have. So let's say if you set 5 bandits, you know, for minimum and max for the hideout, then depending on whatever positions get used, then you'll see only 5 bandits. You won't see the number that's here. These are just spawn points for these bandits. All right, let's go to this tree over here. We'll use this tree as well. This guy will be right here. We're going to stop with that for now, and we're going to go back to the script and add all these logged coordinates. What we're going to do is I'm going to separate these into different sections just to divide the props up, because I have a system that I use to kind of keep track of everything, and this is important, otherwise coordinates get lost and stuff like that happens. You'll see what we're doing when we get there. Alright, so those are just the props. We haven't done any props yet except for 2 campfires. So what we have now is guard positions that we logged, and let's save this for a second. And let's go back to the directory. We open up our log again, and now we have a whole mess of coordinates. So all these right up here we got already. That's the center of the hideout, the reinforcement spawn points, and the patrol points. Now what we have is the campfire and the guard positions. So I'm gonna remove all the timestamps for the guard positions a second. Now the guard positions, as I said, are the spawn points for each bandit. Alright, so that's what we have. And we're going to do the campfire first. So we take this coordinate right here and go to the first campfire. And we hit this line here. So you can see that line updates. Now the 0.0 is if you have a heading. So that, as we know, the campfire doesn't have a heading or a direction it faces. It's a circular prop. And so we'll get the second one, which is this. And we will add it to this one here. And it updates that. We'll just save that a second. Now we scroll down and we do the guard positions. Now that we have those, then we just copy all these and we put them right here. And we do the next group that we got. Copy those. Just Control V. And move the comma, and we'll count how many there are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So currently we have 16 bandit spawn positions. We'll save that for now, and that's not final, and this just tells me how many there are. Now we go back in the game and we start setting up different props based on what we want to do. So now we just close this and don't save it because we're going to be re-adding to it with new coordinates. What we're going to do now is we're going to put down some tents. So let's go over here. I'm going to determine where we're going to put a tent. I'm going to get a tent set up. So spawn prop. I have a list on my desktop here. It's a piece of paper with a list of all the props. There are currently about 35 props that I could choose from, and I have their codes numbered in the list. And we're going to spawn a white tent, which is number 24. So I just set that to number 24. And then we go to log plcar h, which is logging a coordinate with a heading. And we're going to try to determine where we're going to put this tent. Maybe we'll put it back here. Kind of a bumpy spot, but let's put it right here. This is the tricky part, trying to determine where to put some of these props. So we'll put one right about here. Open the menu, log plcar h, and then walk away. And then we'll go to spawn prop. That could work. Alright, put another one right next to it. And we'll go H. See how that looks. Well, that could work. Let's put one right here. That can work. Put one next to this guy. See, I gotta eyeball everything up just to make sure it looks decent. Alright, that works. We could do that. Alright, so we got those tents. Let's put down a bedroll, which is 22, and log plcar h. I'll put the bedroll over here. And there's our bedroll. We'll put a bedroll here. Go. And put a bedroll in the front here. There we go. Put one on the side for this one. Looks good. Alright, so we got bedrolls, we got a bedroll there. Let's do the next prop, and the next prop is going to be, let's see, let's put down a water barrel. That's number 20. And that one gets log peel card itself. So we'll put that right over here, that right here. And there you have a barrel. And we'll do a next prop is going to be, I'll put a box, number 4. I gotta go all the way down on the list. And log peel card. It's right about here. There we go. Box. That could pass for an ammo box. Let's put a box over here. All right. Alright, the next prop we're going to do, let's do a bourbon box, which is number 5. And we'll go up here. Let's see. I'll put one over here. Bourbon box. Put one by these guys.
I think there's more than enough room for 2 of us out here.
Best keep walking while you still can.
Sorry
What
about
the
that.
hell's your problem?
Sorry.
Go find a softer target.
Alright, so we got a bourbon box over there. Yeah, they don't like when you get close to them. Alright, that's those props for the moment. Let's go over here and give these guys some props. I might put another campfire over here. We'll do that after this. So let's see. Make sure this is set. Go up here. We'll put the the box right here. There we go. Put a crate right here. Sorry. The box was number 4 on the list. There we go. Crate. And let's do a campfire, which would be 0. I'll peel a card. Let's see, they're right about there. Let's put it right in the center here. And then I don't want to spawn it right underneath me. I might catch on fire. There we go. And put some campfire goers. Let's add those props right now, and then we'll get some more after. All right, now we go to the R2 directory, open up the log, and we gotta go scroll down because the new stuff will be under the last guy. So here's what we'll do: we'll just delete all these up to the top, so we have only what we logged. So this is a tent. I'm gonna remove some of these. Now there was an update in version 139 to to the camp creator, which is this script here, and that enables me to log coordinates and stuff better. It does some other things, but it adds the prop name that I acquire in game, which you could see the names here, which I really needed because it helps me, it saves me time trying to find, you know, what are which, because sometimes you can make a mistake and you have to relog stuff, so you're just wasting all kinds of time and stuff. It's a pain in the ass. Yeah, there's a lot of props. All this to make it look, you know, livable, lively, like someone's been there. Got some bandit positions. Alright, so we'll add the 2 added bandits. Come there. With that comma, so now this is up to 18, and save that a sec, and then we'll work our way up. So we have these 2, or work our way up from the bottom. So we have a campfire here, and this is our 3rd campfire. That takes care of that. And then we have a box. Do we have any boxes in here? Yes. And we go here. Now you can see there's no 0.0 like here, because we used log PL card plus H for that because it has a heading. And then we'll delete that. This one is a bourbon box, so we'll copy that, and that's the first one for here. And then we got a second bourbon box. These guys do a lot of drinking. Third bourbon box. Now we have a regular box, which is right here. And we have a bedroll, so we got a bunch of bedrolls up here. The order that you logged it doesn't matter as long as it's in the code itself. It's kind of boring probably for you guys to watch this, but this gives you an idea of what it takes to build a hideout for this mod. Alright, so now we have tents. We have 4 tents that we logged. And tents done a little bit differently. I start on the top with this. And then the sleeping bag that's in the tent gets the same number. And that sleeping bag basically ends up in the center of the tent, the head of the sleeping bag to the back, like it's, you know, like it should be. So that's 1. And then this will be number 2. And then we've got these done, so we'll put them together like that. 3. And then we have one more. Alright, so far so good, so we'll just save that. That's the props that we have now. So now we just close this, and let's go back in game and get some more props. We're going to take a look at the list here and see what else we could add. Let's do some lanterns. So log peel a card. The lanterns are number 1 on the list, and what we'll do is we'll put a lantern right here in the center. There we go, 1 lantern. A lantern right about here. There we go. Hey guys. Let's make sure this is ready because these guys. Put a lantern over here. There we go. Alright, let's put a lantern out by this tree.
You! Get going! Shane! I was looking forward to killing you!
Yeah, that got close. Alright, let's put a lantern up by this guy, by the tree. He's gonna give us shit too. Alright, that's good. Let's put a lantern in the middle here. Alright, that's that. Perfect. Alright, we're gonna put down a wagon. We need log peel cart H for that. And the wagon we're gonna put down is a covered wagon, so that'll be number 9 on the prop list. So we'll go right about here. And let's see. Put something like this. Spawn the prop. Alright, that could work. We're gonna put some props around this. Let's go to a lantern. Let's put the lantern down first. So lantern we'll put right about here. And barrel we'll do next. Just a lantern. For a barrel, we need, let's see, let's put a brown barrel. That's number 18 on the props list. And this is where I want. And then spawn the barrel. Put another barrel there. The barrel will be a blue barrel, which is the next one. do a second blue barrel. That'll work. And let's put a hay bale. Hay bale or straw bale is 33 on the list. For that, we're going to put this over here. Put that right here. And there we go. Let's put a second one right after it. Alright, that works. Alright, that's hay bale. Let's put a box, which was... Actually, let's put a crate. Crate is number 35. So for that we need log peel cartridge. Put the crate right here. Alright, we got a crate. Let's put a box next to that, so that was number 8. Box was number 4. That'll work. Alright, let's put a bandit here, and he's going to be standing in wall. Alright, let's put another wagon. We'll put a wagon old, which is number 11. And let's see, we'll put that right here. We could have that there, or we could have it facing the other direction. We'll go like this. That's kind of what I wanted. We'll put a straw bale right here. Straw barrel is number 33. There we go. We'll put a barrel. And let's put a round barrel. 18. Alright, let's go up top and establish the camp for these guys that are up here. We're going to put a campfire right about here. So we need number 0 for the campfire, and log peel card if you're in a good spot. And there we go. Of course, we need someone to sit around the campfire. we'll give these guys a bourbon box, which is number 5 on the list. There we go. And we'll give them a tent. So a white tent is 24. And let's see, what would be a good spot for that? Let's put it behind this guy. That could work. We could try right here. That could work. Put a bedroll right here. So the bedroll was number 22. Alright. Put a crate right here. Not a crate, a box. Number 4 on the list for that. I think of these boxes like ammo boxes. And then we'll put a lantern right here. There's number 1. Alright, so that sets that up. Let's go back down here. Alright, let's open up the log and see what we got. So the last thing we did was the lantern. We did a bunch of lanterns. So we should actually be right about here. This is going to take a while. I'm going to add all these coordinates, and then when I get back, I will start recording again. Alright, back in the script, I added all those coordinates. Now let's go back in game. What we're going to do is we're going to put a wagon right about here and have it be sitting right about here. Something like this. So the wagon is going to be a covered wagon. It's going to be 9 on the list. Yeah, that's not going to work. Gotta reacquire it. Alright, that looks pretty good. Alright, here we're gonna put a bandit. Actual weight on the bandit. We'll put some props around it. Light a gas can, which is number 6. Put that right about here. That's a gas can. And we'll put a barrel right here. And the barrel should be 18, brown barrel. Okay, brown barrel. And then we'll put a box. Box is number 4. let's put a straw bale, which would be number 33. Actually, we'll put it this way. There we go. And we'll give these guys a bourbon box, which is number 5. Put it by this rock. We'll put a Bandit over here. And let's put some tents. So we have 24 for the tent. And we'll put a tent back here. That works. Give these guys a couple of tents. Can work. Put a tent back here too. Right about here. Right. This is that rock. Alright, that'll work. Let's put a lantern. Got one over there, we'll just put it over here. And let's put a milk jug. Milk jug is number 2 on the list. That's that. We'll put a milk jug over here too. There's 2 crates because the first crate's log was giving me an error, so I had to redo it. So when this hideout spawns, this crate shouldn't be there. So we're gonna put the milk jug right about here. Actually, yeah, let's put it right here. That's fine. And then we'll put a gas can right here for these guys, which was number 6 on the list. And that works. Alright, I'm gonna put wagon no wheels, which is 16. And we're gonna put that over here. Kind of fitting. Let's add those coordinates. Alright, let's open up the directory, go to our log, and we're going to scroll down to the bottom. 7329. Yeah, that was that one. Okay, this is where we're at. Alright, we're going to start with the wagon no wheels. So scroll down, and we're going to take this coordinate here and put it right here. And that takes care of that one. We got a gas can, which we don't have here. Put the gas can up by the boxes. Gas can is this guy, and then this is 0 and 0. And then we do a milk jug, which we have 2 of them, so we need a second. And we have a lantern, so I have to add one. And then we got this tent. Back down to tents. Let's save that a second. We'll start right here. We got a bandit. So make it 22 positions. And this one's a bourbon box, so we have to do that one. Got 2 straw bales. So we'll copy this guy, paste that. It does that. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to tighten all these guys up. And we're going to save this. And we're going to create the ASI. We're going to build the mod, which will produce an ASI file. Which will produce the ASI file. We can close this. What I do for that is I go to build, and then I go to build Bandit Hideouts. I hit that, and that starts updating all the scripts and stuff, and then make sure everything's coordinated and works. Compiles everything, and this will take up to like 10 minutes, sometimes more. It depends on how much was added. So this is going to take a while. What I'm going to do is get back in game and get on my horse and go somewhere else. And then what I'll do is I'll hit Control R and delete the log file, the DAT files, the clear DAT files. And then once I get the new ASI, which will end up in this folder here, I will replace this current ASI file, and then we'll go spawn the hideout and test it out and see what the hideout looks like. Visual Studio Code is finished. When it's done, it usually says generating code. So I just click that, and then what I do is I open up the directory and the test build, and here's the new ASI with the new hideout on it. I just put it in the directory. And I just delete that, minimize that, and then we go back in game and we'll test it out. Alright, here we are back in game. So what I do now is I press Control R, and that reloads all my mods. So now if we go to the map, here's where we're at, and here is now a hideout icon. Let's get closer and see if it spawns in. Here we are. Alright, so I'm going to have to expand the spawn distance. I'm going to put the horse over here. The spawn distance is too small. So we're going to put our mask on. And we'll get as close as we can so we can take a look at the props. There's a guy right there. So we got a guy right there. From what I can tell so far, it looks good. Let's take this guy out. There's this guy over there too. There's our wagon over there. I think this guy we have to fix. Alright, we've been spotted.
Too damn close. Move in now.
Last thing you'll see is my spit in your eye.
Let's go! Close in on them!
Damn, blew him off the ledge.
This one's gonna run off between your eyes.
Got him, right through the tent.
Follow like you're close to the streets.
Who's in?
Let's see if we can... Alright, looks like everything showed up good. Yeah, the new crate showed up good there too. Yeah, how I missed that.
They'll need a dad soon.
We gotta stop him while he's still dead.
Kill your lover! Quick, get him!
Kill him too.
Hasta aquí llegaste.
Looks like this part of the camp turned out good, except for...
Close in on them.
except for that part.
You should know that, man. I'll be the one to kill you.
Let's see how a bullet does against that thick stone.
Damn, how did I miss that? Where'd this other guy go?
You're going to die in vain.
Te mandaré a tu tumba.
Damn, right when I shot. Didn't mean to kill the horse, but...
You ain't getting away, jackass. Say your prayers, dead man.
I'll be real merciful.
Well, we did. We cleared the hideout. Reinforcements work. Let's So the only issue I see here, let's see, we have that tent over there, that's part of an issue. It's the first tent, and then these other tents spawn no problem. The wagons are good. The can seemed to have moved. The wagon is backwards. I don't know how that happened. And these tents, this tent somehow stayed and fixed itself. I suppose I could leave it there. And then we got to put a tent here yet. So let's do that a sec. So we'll just set this for 24. And then we'll just go like this. Yeah, this is kind of part of the process. You have to test it out and see what's spawned correctly and what doesn't. I think this tent's doing fine, so let's go over here. This might be pushing it, going down this thing. Oh, maybe not. They knocked over the lantern. This is all good here. Yeah, it was this first tent that spawned, so I have to kind of fix that, which is going to be hard to do. So what I have to do here is kind of get an assessment. I just logged this position. And see what that is. And kind of do the same for this. See what those coordinates are and compare them with what's already there. And go from there. Alright, I don't know why the crates are crooked, but they are. And this is wrong, so let's go back into the code. Wagon old, that's that one. Let's see what the log says for those tents first. So we have 2 coordinates here. And let's take a look at the tents, and it's going to be the last few tents that I did. I gotta see which coordinate it's closest to. So 129.93. It might be this one. 100. So I think it's these 2 tents right here that are the issue. And this one here. So all I could actually do to fix those 2 tents currently while in game, I can't do anything until I rebuild the ASI and then check it out. And we do have a tent here that we could add that we got coordinates for, so we can add that. We know that's good. So we'll do that. And we'll just get that. Alright, that fixes that. And we gotta expand the spawn distance, so I'm gonna set this to 13. I'm going to set this to 28 and make this 35. I will fix those few props that I can. This will be in version 139, and thanks for watching.